day, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on perfect verb tenses. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts. We're doing grade 6. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of perfect verb tenses. All right. And perfect verb tenses, this is a continuation of our previous lesson where we also did perfect verb tenses. So our chapter for today is, like we said, perfect verb tenses. We are doing the subject of English language arts. Grade 6. And then the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of perfect verb tense is to form the perfect verb tense, and we're going to choose between the past tense as well as the past participle. All right. So when it either comes to the verb tense, or it comes to us having to choose between the past tense or the past participle, right? Then when it comes to the past tense, remember the past tense, it usually tells about something that has, had, or will have happened, things that happened already. But it has happened, had happened, or will have happened. And it also uses the form of a helping verb to have with the past participle of the verb. And once again, we say that the past participle or the past tense, right? It usually tells us about something that has happened, things that had happened, or things that will have happened. And it uses a form of helping verb to have with the past participle of the verb. And when it comes to the past participle, right, of a verb, it is usually the same as the past tense form. So the past participle is usually the same as the past tense form, but sometimes it is not always. And some of our verbs, right, that have irregular past participles, right? So some of our verbs that have irregular past participles. And remember when we spoke about irregular verbs, right, or the past tense verbs, then we see that the wording changes. We do not follow any rules. All right. And when it comes to that is why we said with irregular past participles, right? We see that there's no rules that you have to follow. So all you have to do is you have to remember all the irregular past participles because the wording changes. We can't just say add this, add that, add this letter, add D, add ED. The wording changes to an extent that you're going to have to remember the forms of the verbs. And if we look at an example, right? If we look at an example, it says Toby had seen that movie. And if we look at the past participle plus the helping verb within that sentence, right? Then we would say had seen. So Toby had seen that movie. If you look at another example, it says, I have run a marathon. I have run a marathon. And if we were to identify the past participles within that sentence or the past tense within that sentence with their helping verb, then we can say it's have run. So I have run a marathon. And if we look at another example, it says the tree has grown taller. So has is our helping verb, grown is our verb. So has grown taller. And the last one, will you be able to identify the helping verb plus the past participle? It says Claire will have eaten dinner. So Claire will have eaten dinner. What is our verb and our past participle within that sentence? All right. And if we were to select the past participle plus the helping verb within that sentence, it says Clay will have eaten dinner, and then we will say will have eaten dinner. All right. And then also when it comes to the past tense, right? We see that the past tense, it does not use the helping verb to have. With the past tense, remember the past tense is just straight. It's just straight. You just have your normal verb, run, jump, ate, eat, or whatever, right? Whatever the verb is. That is the past tense. It basically just shows the verb without the helping verb. It can be run, it can be play, it can be jump. Anything that you do, but without the helping verb. And we see that the past tense, it does not use the helping verb to have, and it uses the past tense form of the verb. And if we look at examples, right? It says Toby saw that movie. And if we look at that example, Toby saw that movie. What is our past tense verb within that sentence? Toby saw that movie. We need to identify our past tense verb within that sentence. And if we were to select our past tense form of the verb, right? That says Toby saw that movie, and then we can say saw is our past tense verb. All right, the next one says I ran a marathon. I ran a marathon. We need to identify the past tense form of the verb within that sentence. I ran a marathon. And if we select our past tense form of the verb within that sentence, I ran a marathon, what do you think the past tense form of the verb would be? And if we were to select our past tense form of the verb, then we would say, I ran a marathon. So, ran is the action that they did. And the next one says, the tree grew taller. The tree grew taller. What do you think is our verb within that sentence, the past tense verb within that sentence? And if we were to select our past tense verb within that sentence, we can say the tree grew taller. Grew shows us what happened, the action that happened with the tree. It got taller and taller. And the last one says, Claire ate dinner. Claire ate dinner. What is the verb over there? Claire ate dinner. And it says Claire ate dinner. So ate tells us the action that Claire did. Ate. All right. So we said once again that we are doing perfect verb tenses, and a perfect tense it usually tells about something that has happened, had happened, or will have happened. And we have our past participle of the verb, and a past participle of the verb it's usually formed by the helping verb to have, and the past participle of the verb is usually the same as the past tense form, but it's not always, right? And then we see the past tense, it does not have the helping verb, and it usually is just the past tense form of the verb. All right, so now we're going to a+students.ca. We are doing the chapter of perfect verb tense, and the lessons that we are focusing on is to form perfect verb tenses as well as to choose between the past tense and past participle. We're going to form the perfect verb tense. All right, and it says the perfect tense, it usually describes completed action. It tells about something that has happened, had happened, and will have happened. And to form the perfect tense, we need to use the form of the helping verb to have with the past participle of the main verb. And for most of the verbs, the past participle is the same as the past tense form. Then we have our present perfect tense. Present tense tells us about things that is happening now or has started happening. So present perfect tense it tells about something that has happened or has already started. So it has started already. And it uses the present tense or form of the helping verb, which is to have, which is either has or have. And then we have the future perfect tense. And future perfect tense already tells you it's things that must still happen. It did not happen at all. So future tense it tells us about something that will have happened by a certain point in the future. Future can be tomorrow. It can be next week. It can be next month, next year. But it's something that has not happened yet. It will still happen. And if we look at the example, right? And before we even go to the example, it says it usually uses the future tense form of the helping verb to have, which is will have. Will have. All right. And if we look at an example, right, of the present perfect tense, an example of the present perfect tense, it says the airplane has arrived. So the airplane has arrived at the gate already. So has is the helping verb and arrived is our current verb. Has arrived. And then if you look at our next example, it says John and Erica have played the violin for 5 years, meaning it shows something ongoing. It started already, that they are still playing, but they've been playing for 5 years. So they're still playing, but they've been playing for 5 years. And if we look at an example of the past perfect tense, it says we had. So we use the word had for the past tense. So we use has and have in the present tense. And in the past tense, we use had. And then when it comes to the future perfect tense, we says the race will have started. Will have started. So we use will have for our future tense. We use had for our past tense. And we use has or have when it comes to our present perfect tense. All right, so now we're going to our test, right? So we're going to a test where we are going to form the perfect verb tenses, whether it is the present perfect tense, the past perfect tense, or the future perfect tense. And keeping in mind, when it comes to the present perfect tense, we use words, the helping verb, such as has or have. When it comes to the past perfect tense, we use the helping verb had. And when it comes to the future perfect tense, we use the helping verb will have. All right, so we're going to begin our test now. It says we need to complete the sentence with the future perfect form of the verb. And it says, Alvin, we need to use the future perfect tense. Do we say Alvin, option one, finish, or option two, will have finished chapter 3 by tomorrow? Do we say Alvin, option one, finish, or do we say option two, will have finished chapter 3 by tomorrow? Which one is correct? Look at the helping verb. So option one or option two. All right. And if we were to select the sentence with the future perfect form of the verb, then we will use Alvin will have finished chapter 3 by tomorrow. Remember, we said that we use the helping verb will have in front of our main verb. So well done. The next one says we need to complete the sentence with the future perfect form of the verb. Again, future perfect. It says the candles. Is it option one, burn out by tomorrow morning? Or do we say the candles, option two, will have burned out by tomorrow morning? So the candles burn out by tomorrow morning, or the candles will have burned out by tomorrow morning. Which one is correct? And if we were to select the correct option, then yes, we will say the candles will have burned out by tomorrow morning. Will have. So well done. Will have is correct. We now need to complete the sentence with the present perfect form of the verb. The present perfect form of the verb. It says the diner. Do we say the diner replaced the old chairs with bright new ones? Or do we say the diner has replaced the old chairs with bright new ones? So option one, replace, or option two, has replaced. Remember, we're doing the perfect present. So do we say the diner replace or has replaced? All right. And if we were to select the correct option, then we would say the diner Has. Remember we said we use words like has and have when it comes to our present perfect tense. So we said the diner has replaced its old chairs with bright new ones. All right, let's look at the next one. It says we need to complete the sentence with the past perfect form of the verb. And remember, when it comes to perfect, it's ongoing, right? So, which means that we use a helping verb. We either use helping verbs had for our past tense. When it comes to the present tense, we use the helping verb has and have. And when it comes to the future tense, we use the helping verb will have. So now it says we need to complete the sentence with the past perfect form of the verb. Rachel's new shoes. Do we say it rubbed against her feet, causing blisters? That's option one. Or do we say option two, Rachel's new shoes had rubbed against her feet, causing blisters? So option one, rub, or option two, had rubbed. The past perfect form of the verb. All right, and if we were to select our correct past tense form of the verb, then we can say Rachel's new shoes had rubbed against her feet, causing blisters. We have our helping verb had. So well done. And the next one says, a Brenna. Do we say Brenna option one, paint her bedroom a lovely blue color? Or do we say Brenna option two has painted her bedroom a lovely blue color? Which one is correct? And if we were to select the correct present perfect form of the verb, then we can say Brenna has painted option two, her bedroom a lovely blue color. All right. All right, so now we're going to choose between the past tense and the past participle. So we're going to choose between the past tense and the past participle. And we said when it comes to the perfect tense, right? Then the perfect tense, it usually tells about something that has happened, had happened, or will have happened. And we see that we usually use a helping verb to have with the past perfect tense of the verb. So it's almost like our previous the lesson that we just did, or the lesson that we just did, where we had to identify either the present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect tense. And then we also have a helping verb there that basically helps us or guides us in identifying what either the past, present, or future perfect tense is. So when it comes to our perfect tense, and we use the to have with the past participle, then it means that we use a helping verb. But if we just use the past tense straight with no past participle or so on, then we don't add our helping verb. The past tense is just the past tense without the helping verb. All right, now let's go to our test where we need to choose between the past tense and the past participle. Remember, we said that the past tense has no helping verb, whereas the past participle as the helping verb either has, had, or will have. It says President Clinton often spoke or spoken about the importance of good education. So President Clinton often, do we say, spoke, option one, about the importance of good education, or spoken, option two, about the importance of good education? Which one is correct? Option one, spoke, or option two, spoken? Only the past tense, no helping verb. And if we were to select the correct past tense, right, then we can say yes, that President Clinton often spoke about the importance of good education. So well done. Option one is correct. All right, let's do the last one and then we are done. It says these geese have flew here all the way from Canada, or do we say have flown here all the way from Canada? Which one is correct? And if we were to choose the correct option, do we say these geese have flew here all the way from Canada or have flown all the way from Canada? Option one or option two? Have flew or have flown here all the way from Canada? Flew or flown? And if we were to check our correct option, I'm going to choose option one as per what you guys said. But if you look at the sentence, it says have flew, or do we say have flown? I'm going to choose option one. Flew shows the past tense, right? Remember, if you just say flew, then you just use the past tense. But if we use, let's say, the have in front, then you say flown, right? Because flew is basically just a straight past tense. The bird flew past us. But once we use have, then grammatically we use flown, right? Without the a helping verb in front of it. So that is a past participle. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on perfect verb tenses. And we said when it comes to the past tense, and of course, we just use words that is in the past tense, right? Without a helping verb. Then if we use the past participle, then we can use the a helping verb to basically show the perfect tenses, whether it's the present perfect tense where we use have and has, or the past perfect tense where we use had, or future perfect tense where we use will have. All right, so this is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining the class. Thank you for interacting. And I really hope that you're going to have a good day further. So, till next time, goodbye.